Hello, my name is Siobhan and I'm a Scientology life coach. I've been an active life coach for over 35 years. You're probably wondering why Eric isn't here, because he normally does them. So I'm just fitting in for him because he's away on holidays with his wife. So I hope that's okay with everyone that does the webinars. Okay. I suppose I should explain Scientology life coach to you. Okay. Scientology is an applied philosophy that you use in order to handle different areas of life. And tonight you're going to experience that in one area. That is communication. Okay. My assistant, Pavel, who is Ukrainian, will be assisting me. So if there's any messages or any communications that you want to send, and if I miss, he's going to pick them up and we'll answer all your questions as we go through this evening. Is that okay? Cool. Okay. So I'd like to welcome you all. There's quite a few of you on there. I see Tanya, Rebecca, Athena, Ivy, Lenka, Maria, Marissa, Chandri, Farouk. Who else? Yes, and there's a couple of names I can't pronounce, but you're all very, very welcome. So, I know a lot of you have already been attending webinars for the first time, so please write where you're from so I can get an idea of you. Let's see. Are you from the UK? Are you from Ireland? Are you international? Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Dublin. Yeah, of course, I'm Irish. Born and bred. Born in Crumlin, actually. Lived in Dublin all my life. And then in the latter years, when I had my family, I moved out to County Meath. So, cool. Oh, Belgium. Very good. UK. Very good. Bedford, UK. Germany. Nederlands, oh, hoe gaat het met jou? Ik spreek klein beetje Nederlands. Dublin, Spain, hola. Birmingham. Fantastic. Well, you're all very welcome, and I don't know many other languages I can say that, so we'll start, I think. So I'm going to give you a lot of attention tonight, okay? But I want to get your attention too. So put your phone on silent and make yourself comfortable. Good. And I also suggest for you to stay until the end in order to get the utmost out of this webinar, because it really is, it's magic, absolute magic. Okay, so the subject is communication. Do you want to learn how to be more engaging and outgoing? Would you like to be a better listener? Do you get nervous talking to certain people? Your boss, maybe, or talking to a girl even, chatting up a girl or a guy? Yeah, which one of these, or what is it that made you want to do this webinar? What were the problems you were having or are having? What situations are you having difficulties with? You can type them in and I can take a look at them if you like. Or not. Just give you a second there in case you want to mention what you'd like to handle from this webinar. Because it's a good point to start, because then I can address it exactly. Social anxiety. Okay, very good. Social anxiety. What? Just interacting with people socially, yeah? Public speaking, yeah. Maybe in your job. Professionally, finding it difficult to talk and work, difficulty communicating what you think should happen or the way something should be with your boss. Oh, I tell you, I had, she's gone back home now. I had an employee who she was so scared of me. I didn't think I was scary, but she was scared. And we helped her with this communication course, myself and my business partner. And I couldn't believe it. Like literally just days into the course itself doesn't take long, but a few days into it, she was bold and very forward and was holding her position and communicating. It was just incredible. It was just fantastic. So she got over that problem communicating in work, you know, and it wasn't that she wanted to say anything out of the ordinary. It was just basic questions that she had. She wanted to ask certain things that would help her in her job. So I totally get that. I'm totally get that. There's a few more here. Yeah. Let me just tap on this. See. Not being charismatic in conversation, feeling silly. Okay. That's a very good one. That's a very good one. I used to think I wasn't interesting. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Pavel is telling me something. Pavel, what? There's two more joined us? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, let me just finish this one and I'll get back to you. Okay. So I used to feel I wasn't interesting. And I used to be sitting, thinking about what I'd talk about. And then I'd miss a conversation. And then I'd look stupid. So I totally get that. Feeling silly socially, or feeling inadequate or inept, or not feeling that what you have to say is probably not very important. So I was there. I know what that's like. Let's see. What else have we got? Communication skills at job. I struggle to sell. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay. Getting nervous. Yeah. Able to talk to toxic people. Oh, gosh. Talk to toxic people. Yeah, how to handle more than communicate. So to handle toxic people with your communication would be a good one. Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good one, actually. Okay. I think we've covered everybody's desires to what they want to handle. Good. Okay. So let's start. What is communication? How do you talk to someone so the other... Did I read this already? No. Okay, thanks, Pavel. Right. How do you talk to someone so the other person will listen and understand? How do you listen to someone else so they know you are interested and are following what they say? And when you say something, how do you know if you have been heard and understood? These are all points about communication that have never before been carefully looked into and explained. I hope you don't mind me using my paper. People have known that communication is an important part of life. But until now, no one has ever been able to successfully tell anyone how to communicate. I think the thing that I came across before this formula was to assert yourself, force yourself. And honestly, I don't like assertive people. I like people to be themselves, but to communicate properly. So you don't have to be assertive. You just have to be able to communicate and understand it. And I think that would help you a lot. So tell me, have you ever done a course or read a book on communication but did not get the desired result? What was it? And tell me what happened. You can type it in now and I can address it. Give you a moment to do that, okay? I'll just give you a little personal story. I don't know if I said this earlier, but I'll repeat it. I lived with a girl for a couple of years, and she's a great friend of mine, and she was great at talking, and I was a very good listener, and I listened very attentively, and I was very interested in what she had to say. I thought she was very animated, etc., etc. But she turned around to me and she says, "For God's sake, Siobhan, I never know if you're listening to me." In shock, I was just, what? Of course I am. That's all I do is listen to, because I wasn't much of a communicator myself. But she says, "You never let me know if you've heard me or if you understood or etc., etc." And I thought, oh my God. And I was really quite shocked. And it was the first time that I became aware that there was something wrong with my communication, because I was more willing to listen than I was to communicate, and then I wasn't acknowledging, and then I got in my own head, and then it just went blah, la, 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 all of that. So that's my personal story, and that was way back when I was I'd say I was about 22. Okay, let's see. What have we got? So you do all kinds of communication training, but often don't get the cues to shut up. I need a bit more information on that. So you teach people communication. You do training with people. Okay. And you don't get the cues to shut up. So you might miss somebody telling you to stop talking. Is that it? Have you ever taken a communication workshop? Oh, you've attended them. Okay, good. So did you get the result that you wanted? Did you? Did you get the result you wanted? And you still struggle to understand cues. I'm kind of not following the cues. What, could you elaborate a little bit more on cues? Yeah, a cue is where, my understanding is where somebody tells you you can talk now, or it's time to talk, or it's time to end. So if it means starting or ending something, you are going to learn about that tonight. Okay? Cool. Okay, so let's continue. Good. Let's define what communication is. Okay. Communication is something that is sent and is received. Might be an idea, a thought, emotion. You might send something, or it could be a touch where you could hug somebody. So they're all forms of communication. Good. The origin of the word comes from Latin, which means to impart or release. So what you're doing is you come up and you have an idea, you have a thought, and you are going to impart that thought, okay? Or you're going to release it. It's just another word. Okay, so it's an origination, isn't it? You get an idea. You get an idea that you want to do the garden tomorrow, and you say, hey, I want to do the garden tomorrow. What's the weather like? That's the idea, and you're going to impart that idea maybe to your boyfriend or your husband. My husband's a good weatherman, so I always check with him. Anyway, and that's what communication is, right? Does that make sense? Just put a thumbs up. I'm just reading this here. Exchange ideas and seek for the feedback. Okay, we'll cover everything. This formula will cover everything. So We will get back to those answers. So now we've defined communication. So let's go on to the formula of communication. Okay, you ready for this? The communication formula consists of cause, distance, effect, with intention, attention, and duplication, with understanding. Now that's a lot. And you're probably going, whoa, complex, too complex. They're all just words. But right now, they're all just words. But we are going to really simplify them right down. And we'll do loads of examples, hands-on, so you can grasp it, okay? Good. So let's look over the meaning of the following words so you can get a full, clear understanding of how they're used in the formula. Now, used. This is something that you use. This is not just theory. And that's what Scientology is. It's a practical application. And it's from the application of it that you get results. Or you get to know. Because that's what Scientology means, knowing how to know. So when you use this, you get to see the different parts of communication in action. You know, how it's working, what's happening, who is it? Is it me? Is it them? Is it too loud? Is it too low? Is it not arriving? All of those things. So you use it. Practical application. Instead of going around with the theory, rolling around in your head, rolling around. You get to practice this, okay? So the first one. Cause. We'll take up the first word, cause. Cause is the point from which something happens or starts. If you say something to another person, you're being cause. So, I'm just going to write that on the board, okay? It's the origin point, the originator. Okay? Cause you're going to originate something. That's all that means. Very simple. Second, distance. Distance is the space that exists between 2 points. For example, the distance between two people can be a few feet, a few inches, or miles. So there's always a distance from one person to the other that you're going to communicate to. Okay? So let me just do that here. Distance. I think that's pretty straightforward, isn't it? Yeah? Good. Effect. That might sound a bit odd, but I'm going to explain this to you as well. Effect is the point that receives something. If you say something to another person, you're being cause, and the other person is being effect. So the communication is going over the distance to that person, which is the receipt point. Effect is a receipt point. So let's do it over here. The receipt point. Okay. Here's another way of looking at effect. Just say your friend, and she's not listening to you, and you go, boom. You give her a thump. She's definitely effect then. She received that communication. It was a physical one. So she's effect. But it's the receipt point. But that's just another way of looking at effect, okay? It's the receipt point. Good. Examples. That's one example. What's another example? Let's see, what else can we come up with? Oh, yeah. to say, hi, I'm the originator. I see someone across the street and I go, hi, Mary. Hi. And it goes over the distance and it reaches her. Well, it should reach her. I say it should reach her. And she hears you and she turns and she goes, she receives it. And she goes, hi, Siobhan. That's a pretty good example, I think. Okay, good. That's pretty straightforward. This is very simple. It's very, very simple. But the simplicity of it is using it. And the simplicity of it is putting it all together and then using it. Okay, good. So the next part, we've done the effect point. Oh, yeah, where's the person? Pavel has just informed me that the effect of the receive point is a person. Could be a cat or a dog, but they can't communicate back, okay? You could kick the door, but they can't communicate back. So it's a person, and we're talking about live people, okay? Good. So, now a very important word here called intention. Intention is an idea that you're going to do something. So for example, right? You have a strong intention to become an artist. Really have a strong intention to become an artist. And you do everything possible. You're aiming for it. It's your goal. You have the intention. If you really have the intention, you can do it. Okay? And you will become one. So in any communication, you must have an intention to send the message to someone to make it happen. Let's put this down here. So cause point has to have the intention for the receive point to receive what they want to send. Okay? Good. And I know a lot of you are thinking, okay, that all sounds like wordy and all of that, but what about my shyness? What about not knowing what to say? I know. But part of this formula is drilling it, and there's a part in this where you do something to help you confront. Because the reason a lot of people are backed off as well is they mightn't be able to confront communicating. And that is actually, when you are learning and doing this, that's the first thing that you learn to do, is to confront. Because you can't do anything unless you face it. And you're confident that you can confront or that you can face something. But that's, I'll bring that in right at the end for you, okay? I'll tie that in with it for you. But I'm kind of trying to think what you'd be thinking of at this moment. Are there any questions so far? You can type them in. Okay. Well, I can't talk, okay? Literally, is that physical that is it mute? Okay. Not. You're not mute. Possible? Okay. To unmute. Okay. That's a little bit, it's not very clear, the question. So I can't really take that up, okay? Anyway, let's continue. So that's intention. So cause point has to have the intention to send a communication or something over to the receive point. And the next word then is attention. Attention is being aware of something, looking at or noticing. If you call somebody by his name, it's usually to get his attention. To communicate to another successfully, you need to get his attention. So, to communicate successfully, you need to get their attention. So this guy here has to give this guy the attention. Oh God, there are numerous examples of this. Tell your husband to take the washing in off the line. And he was kind of halfway up the stairs when you told him. And you didn't even say, oh, he did, he shouted, and yeah. So you thought he got it. And then you come home from work and the washing is still on the line, soaking wet. That's just an example. So if you don't have the attention of the other person, they're not going to receive it. They're just not going to receive it. And it can cause so many arguments, so many misunderstandings. It can be the difference between arriving somewhere in the right place or the wrong place, etc., etc. There is just so many numerous things on it. Let me see if there's anyone asking any. Okay, good. Thank you. You replied in a private message. Good. Excellent. So let's continue. So attention. So this person here at the receive point has to give this person here attention. Okay? Now, next one, duplication. Duplication is the action of repeating or making a copy of something. If you talk to a man and tell him about a cat, and he gets the idea you're talking about a dog, that's not duplication. He hasn't duplicated. No. If he understands you're talking about a cat and gets that idea, he has a duplication of what you're saying. In any communication, it is important that the other person gets a duplication of what you're saying. So, this is happening a lot. I'm finding this is happening a lot. Pavel and I have been communicating all evening, right? And because of the language, English is not his first language, and he has super English. Super English. And he's saying, no. Yes, he has super English. But I had to ask twice what he meant. And I had to take the time to listen and give my attention to him. So we could be on the same page and understand each other. So that's duplication. And it's the ability to be able to take the time, to be able to see that you're not duplicating, to help each other through the communication cycle. That's basically what duplicate. If you don't duplicate, you're a goner. If I hadn't duplicated him and he hadn't of me, I'd actually be all over the place now. Absolutely all over the place. Anyway, so we duplicated each other. Good. Okay. And the last one. So we have to have duplication. So where does the duplication have to occur? It occurs here. He sent the communication over, he received it, gave his attention, and he totally understood it. He duplicated it. Good. Excellent. And what comes from all of this is understanding. Understanding. You've probably heard it countless times. I didn't understand what you meant. Here's another example I just thought of there. When my son was little, I used to tell him to bring the clothes up to the landing. He hadn't a clue what the landing was. He just hadn't got a clue what the landing was. And he'd go off into the kitchen with the clothes. Or he'd go into another room and I go, you didn't bring them up. And he'd look at me confused. So he couldn't duplicate. And I copped it. And I went, oh God, he doesn't know where. I said, do you know where the landing is? And he went, no. So I brought him up to the landing. And he was so happy. He just went he went, oh my God. And he ran down and got the clothes because he wanted to help me. It was only a little thing at the time. And he brought the clothes up to the landing. Very simple, but very, very important. And that goes with anybody. And especially your partner. Especially in work. And especially with trying to understand people as well. Okay, good. So that's understanding. So here we are. Understanding is the power or ability to understand. The power or ability to understand, which means to have a clear and correct idea or a full and exact knowledge of what something means. You must bring about an understanding of what you're saying whenever you communicate. I keep thinking, actually, as I'm reading this, especially about the understanding as children, we assume an awful lot that children understand. They're very young, and from the time they're toddlers or babies, we're telling them things, and we assume they understand. And they can be going around a lot of misunderstanding and misconception about things. And it really, for me anyway, it wasn't even great, even though I knew this, but my awareness of it now is much, much greater. I have a grandson now, and I'm very aware that I show him what I mean sometimes, and to see if he understands. And that's communication. You can actually show as well. So understanding comes about by duplication. You duplicate, you show him, look, oh, this is a pen. Look, do you see it? This is the pen. And he's giving me his attention. And he goes, oh, yeah, that is a pen. Just pretend he never knew that it was a pen. Yeah, that is a pen. Oh, good. Simple. Simple, very effective. And you could have a lot of kids that would be acting up a little bit. And I think if we took the time to help them understand what we're talking about would really help. That's just an example of that. So there we are. So you must bring about an understanding of what you are saying whenever you communicate. Well, that sounds like a lot of hard work, doesn't it? But it's not. It's fun. It's actually great fun. So the communication formula opens the door to understanding the whole subject. Now, let's take a look at this. We're going to have to reverse this, okay? Because there's some very important things that really happen here. You can have somebody who is talking, just talking. You know, somebody you think, oh, they're great at communicating, and they go blah, 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 and they're talking. And they're not really engaging. Or you might even do it yourself. Not really engaging. So the other person then is not really there. Not really. Okay? Or you can have this person originating, and it arrives all right. And the person goes, okay. And at that point, they're caused. They go, okay, they received it. But they may not originate. Do you ever have that problem? You're sitting with someone, you meet, oh, yeah, you're on a date with a girl. Beautiful girl. Absolutely beautiful. And you're communicating, you're talking with her, but she doesn't originate back. So here you do, you're talking to her, and it's good. You're asking her, but she doesn't actually reverse it. She doesn't go cause. And you don't become a receipt point. It's just one way, one flow, all the time. what's going to happen there? You're going to give up. And you'll think maybe that there's something wrong with you. When in actual fact, and there's probably nothing much wrong with her. She's probably just fabulous. But she's not aware that she's not originating. You might have to pull it out of her. But it's very tiring. You might have to pull it out. You say, well, what about you? And she might give you something. But she's not really engaged. So it's almost like a game of tennis. You hit the ball over, it arrives. The person acknowledges it, then hits the ball back. It arrives. So it's like this. And it should be back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But it might get stuck. And then you get into all sorts of trouble. That's just one example. Also, okay, so then you're with the girl, right? It's the same girl, no, a different girl, and you originate to her. And you ask her about her job. And she starts to tell you. But an hour and a half later, she's still talking. And you're sitting there going, and you're trying to be interested, staying interested, giving her your attention. You're dying. She's killing you. She's absolutely killing you. I know a person that I talk to from time to time, and I really like the person. But when I talk to this person, she tells me everything down to, she wants to tell me about the bus that didn't stop for her. But I get the story before the bus, about the 2 hours before the bus, then about the bus, and then after the bus, and then the person that was sitting on the bus. And it just, and by the end of it, I kind of don't even get an answer to some of my questions because she's so busy building a whole picture. And that's the opposite effect. The originator, the cause, that's communicating to you is overloading the communication onto you. And it really doesn't give you a chance. And you just go, boom. So there are all the different things that can happen when it goes off. But we're not going to concentrate on that. We're going to concentrate on using it so that you can become very effective at this, and that you can spot then, is it you? Is it them? Is it too much? Are they not originating? You know, you can actually, just right now, even if you came off the webinar, you could walk away with some knowledge to pinpoint different things about communication with your family and work, yourself, etc., etc. So let me just check my notes. What's that? I did. Yeah. Pavel is just reminding me to change the flow. Yes, the flow. So let's just say we have a good communication cycle. Just check and see if there's any messages. Okay. So you have Mary talking with Joe, has an intention. Mary originates and says, Joe, I was wondering, could you work late tonight? That's the intention. And Joe receives it, okay? He's giving the attention, he's standing there. And he understands what's been asked, he duplicates it. Let's go over here. Okay, and he goes, okay, Mary, yeah, I'll work tonight. What time do you want me to stay till? There we have it. He is now cause. And Mary is the receipt point. She's the effect point. And so it goes. So it goes, so it goes, so it goes. Okay? And that is as simple as that. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, that's not what my problem is. I know that. That won't help me. I get it. I get it. You won't know until you actually start using this as a drill, as an exercise, and a practice. You won't get it. And that's the thing about Scientology, most people don't know, is that they don't know how it works because they've never used it. So let me just go here and see what's next on this, because I don't want to go down a road that I don't have to. Okay. So you can improve any part of the formula and use it to improve communications with others. So let's go back. Let's go back to the different problems that you guys have been running into. You can't talk. You can't exchange ideas. What was the other ones? You're anxious. You're shy. Let me just see. I might need assistance from Pavel. Here, let me just see here. Oh no, I can get it here. Just bear with me a second, guys. No, Pavel, I need your assistance.
Yep.
My assistant is assisting.
Yeah.
Just, I want to see all the things that the guys put up that they would really like to handle. If we go back up here, yeah. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, public speaking. Yeah, that's great. I'll go through that then. Yeah, excellent. Have I got it?
Take this.
Oh, there. Yeah. Oh, thanks. This is something we didn't practice before. Okay, so good. Public speaking. Okay. So what is it about public speaking? Is it nervousness in front of people? Is it that you won't know what to say, or you won't know when to stop? Or do you get all shaky? Or maybe all of the above, right? So, good. Okay, that's that one. Then social anxiety. Oh, I have social anxiety. I get that. So all these things, right? All these things that have been affecting and are affecting your life right now, they don't just disappear, because I was hoping for divine inspiration to handle my communication, but there was nothing. Feel the fear, do it anyways. I did all those. I read all those books. I got nothing practical. I wanted something practical. Give me something practical so I can see for myself, so I can change something. And that's what the formulas of communication are. And this is a course. It is a very basic course that can be done in the Scientology Community Center. And it is the solution to doing this. We can go around with theory all the time. We can be full of theory. But the only way you change anything is doing this. Okay? It's very practical, this course, and you're able to do it here. The course is done under the skilled supervision of a communication coach that will personally help you through the exercises. You need to practice to gain the skill. This course is only about 10 to 15 hours long, and it depends very much on your personal progress and has an open schedule to suit your personal needs. Now, Pavel's going to put up a poll. Please fill it out, and I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that, and I'll just rant on a little bit while you're filling it out. Kind of warm in here now. Okay, good. I see he has it up. Just fill it in, and then when you fill it in, I think you have to end the poll to come out of it. Oh, by the way, the course only costs €20. So it's an absolute must, But I'm going to give you another story on communication. I do employ some people in my company, and recently I employed a beautiful girl, and she is very skilled. I only employ very skilled, technically and certified people. I mean, certified in their degrees. And beautiful girl, but she came into me like this, and her communication was all in. And when she was dealing with her clients, because she's a therapist, she was not really giving herself, and she wasn't really keeping her clients, you know. And she was incredible at what she did. So we had her and one of our other girls do this course. And within a few days of the course, I noticed that her bookings increased. And I said to her, what's changed? And for a second she went, oh, I don't know. And then she turned around and she said, Siobhan, I feel more confident. And it's the course. And I've realized that I've been speaking to the floor. Just very simple. I've been speaking to the floor and a little bit afraid. And with the beginning stages of the course, it brought my confront up, she said. And I was able to kind of straighten up and travel the distance with my communication. And my clients understood me. And that's the change. Oh, I was so happy for her, because she told us stories about being bullied as a child. And I really, really felt it for her. So I was so happy, really so happy. So anyway, have you filled in the poll? Good. Yeah, let's wait another minute or so. Have you any questions? Are there any questions now? Yeah, we'll do a question and answer. Yeah. So if you're finished with the poll, and you have a question, you can actually type it in. Yeah. I'm just trying to look at that. Yeah, here we go. I'm managing this. What's this? What's your question? Nervousness, shaky, all of the above. Forgetting what to say, rushing, and trip the words. Okay. Okay, thank you. That's confront. That's your confront, and that's addressed on the course. That's the first step, 2 steps on the course, is bringing your confront up. Facing, being there. It's a skill. It's an ability. And that's what you learn. You get to exercise that ability so that you can stand up there and you can feel comfortable. Now, look, before this, I get anticipation and a little bit of a nervous kind of thing before I stand up. But once I'm actually here, it falls away. And it's because of the skill and ability that I learned on this course that aided me. Any more questions? I hope that answers your question. So yes, yes, yes is the answer to that. The beginning of this course will help you with your confront. Any more questions? Am I missing? Let me just check here. No. Okay, no more questions. If you have private questions that you don't want to air online, you can send them to Pavel, because he's done this course as well, so he can answer them. And hopefully you can come away from this tonight and with something that you probably never had before. It's not complex. This is words right now. This is the formula, but it's doing this. And the exercises are acquired, you acquire skills and ability with knowing this, but it's doing this. Okay, guys? I think I'm going to say good night now. Thank you very much. Oh, hold on. My assistant has reminded me. Can you see? Communication. And at the back it says, a man is as dead as he can't communicate, and he is as alive as he can communicate. There it is. There's communication. This is the pack. Look, very slim, very easy, and you will kind of have a twin on this, where you get to do the exercises to obtain the skills. And it's a fairly quick course and lots of practical exercises on it. Anyway, there you go. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope I've answered all your questions. Good night.